So, welcome back to our virtual studio. I think I'll start with a story today, since that's what I usually do. So, I have a niece who's just over 2 years old, and she's in this phase now where she's asking why for everything that you say, absolutely everything. So you ask her, or you tell her, Lucy, time to eat dinner, and she says, why? And you say, Lucy, time to go to bed, and she says, why? And you say, Lucy, we have to pick up the toys, and she says, why? And so the other night we were getting the kids to do yoga. We were telling them, do downward dog, do happy baby. Lucy, do happy baby. And she says, why? And for all of her other whys, we had really good answers. But when she asked, why should I do happy baby, there was silence. Nobody really knew what to say. And so this made me think, like, so why do we do yoga? And it seemed a little bit pointless in that moment. But I think the more I thought about it, the more I realized that 2-year-olds, or maybe 2-year-olds who have food and shelter, they don't worry about the future. The future doesn't actually even really exist for them. They're just so living in the moment. And so when we get older, we do yoga because we worry about the future. And the yoga practice helps us to come back to just being in the present, in our bodies, in this space that we have right now, in this breath that we have right now. And that, I think, is why we do yoga. And maybe that's why we need yoga the most right now. So I hope that you can allow this practice to be a way to come into your present moment. We'll start seated, and you can just find a comfortable way to sit, cross-legged if that works for you, or something else if it doesn't. You can bring your hands to your knees, or have your hands in your lap, sitting up nice and tall, closing your eyes, letting the shoulders settle away from the ears, allowing your face to soften, and then starting to find each moment of your breath. Notice the inhale traveling from the tip of your nose, through the nose, along the throat, into the space of your chest. Feel the impact of that breath in your belly, in your pelvis. And then as you exhale, emptying from the belly, the chest, throat, nose, feeling the breath move back into space. And then following the next breath right back in. And the breath allows us to start to come into contact with our physical bodies, to feel our way through our physical bodies, to appreciate the physical body that we have and all that it allows us to do. And if we just stay in the moment of the breath from the tip of your nose into the pit of your belly, and then back towards the tip of your nose, and then back into the pit of your belly, then we're always in the exact moment of the breath. And anything that's not relevant to that breathing or to the feeling of that breath can start to slip away. And just take a few more full, steady breaths here. You can maybe start to find your ujjayi breaths. We're focusing the breath a little bit more along the back of the throat. Maybe there's some sound to your breathing. Memorizing how it feels to breathe in this slow, calm way, so that whatever else we do in the practice, you can carry this thread of your breath to every movement and to every transition. From here, you can slowly uncross your legs, if you have them crossed, and then we'll start to take the right leg straight out, a little bit off to the right, and fold the left foot in towards the inner right thigh. You can find a nice tall seat on the front edge of your sits bones. And then from here, walking your hands forward, so just folding straight forward over the hips. You can find that piece at the front of the hips. And breathing slowly here as you're inhaling, seeing if you can find breath all the way into the low back. Maybe right in towards the tailbone. And as you exhale, the low belly drawing in so that you can fold a little bit more at your hip creases. If you need some bend in your right knee, that's fine. Just allowing the leg to be relatively comfortable here, but finding a little bit of a sense of stretch along the back of your right leg. can slowly walk your hands back in towards you, and we'll switch sides. Taking that left leg out straight and a little bit off to the left, holding the right foot in towards your upper left leg, or maybe even right in towards the groin, sitting up tall on the front edge of your sits bones, and then we're just walking the hands straight forward, so folding over the hips, a little bit of stretch to the back of your left leg, feeling your breath move into the space of the low back. As you exhale, low belly drawing in, maybe you can fold a little bit more without any sense of force. Keeping your shoulders relaxed away from your ears, lots of space around your neck. And then walking your hands back in towards you. From here, we'll place the soles of the feet to the mat. You lean back into your hands behind you. And now you can cross your right ankle just above your left knee, keeping the right foot kind of flexed so both sides of the ankle long. You might come up onto your fingertips here if that feels comfortable. As you inhale, you start to lift your chest up towards your shins, or lengthening through the low back, finding more stretch in the outer right hip. As you exhale, round to the back, leaning your weight towards the back edge of your sits bones. Inhale again to come onto the front edge of the sits bones, so you can kind of find a tip in the pelvis, lifting up through the chest. Exhaling to round, chin towards your chest. Inhale again, lifting up through the chest, and really finding the front edge of the sits bones connecting into the mat. Exhaling to round. And just do a few more with your own smooth rhythm of breathing. If it feels like you can have a little bit more space to explore the stretch, you might step that left foot closer in towards you. And keep moving from there. Next time that you lean back into your hands, you can straighten out your left leg. Find again the front edge of your sits bones. And now walking your hands forward. So we're again finding some space in the back of the left leg, as well as this little bit of stretch in the outer right hip. As much as you're able, look for less roundness in your back. So maybe that means even going a little bit up with the ribs rather than just forward. Especially as you're inhaling, lengthening out through the spine. As you're exhaling, and finding that scooping in of your low belly, so that you might explore a little bit more of the fold. And then we'll slowly come back up with the torso. Placing the right foot to the floor, left foot to the floor, leaning back into the hands, and now crossing your left ankle above your right knee. And keeping the left foot in a kind of flexed shape, you can come up onto your fingertips, maybe tipping your hips a little bit forward. As you inhale, you start to lengthen up through the belly, lift the chest towards your left shin. Exhaling to round out away from that stretch. And inhaling in to find tilt forward through the hips, lifting the chest. Exhaling to settle back into a rounder spine, chin towards your chest. Inhale, and seeing if you can first tip the hips and then let the rest of the spine follow. Exhaling to round. And then keep going a few more times, your own steady rhythm of breathing. And the next time that you exhale to lean back into your hands, set the hands maybe flat to the floor, straighten your right leg forward, keeping the left ankle crossed as it is over your right knee, and look for the front edge of the sits bones, walking your hands forward just as much as you're able. It doesn't have to be far. And seeing if you can find less roundness in the spine, so going forward, but maybe also even a little bit up with your heart. Breathing into the space of your low back, breathing length into your belly. And then as you exhale, low belly scoops in without losing any of that length. Maybe you can find just a little bit more creasing at the hips. From here, you can cross your ankles, roll over your knees to come to all fours, or find some other way to get to all fours. Arriving with your knees under your hips, your wrists under your shoulders, the fingers spread comfortably wide apart. Moving through a few rounds of cat and cow. As you inhale, you lengthen the belly, lifting the sits bones, lifting the chest. Exhaling to round the back, hugging the belly in, pressing down through your hands, let the head drop heavy. Inhale again to find length through the front body. Kind of drag your hands against the mat towards you to pull your heart forward. Exhaling to press down through the hands, rounding through the back, hugging through the low belly, head nice and heavy. A few more times, again following your own breath. Seeing if you can once more start the movements at your pelvis. So feel first how the pelvis tilts, and then how that ripples up through the length of your spine, all the way up to the base of your skull. Yeah, we'll inhale to come back towards a neutral spine, taking your knees maybe a little bit wider apart. You can bring the big toes to touch, and then we'll sit back into a child's pose, hips heavy towards your heels, and walk your hands forward, resting your forehead down towards the floor, just taking a few steady breaths here. And breathe into the back body as you inhale, wide space in the backs of the shoulders. And then as you exhale, let the hips sink a little heavily, folding into your hip creases, folding into your knee creases. Walking your hands back in towards you, coming back to all fours. And then from here, taking your hips up and back, moving into downward dog. And take a few moments to get comfy in this first downward dog. You might ultimately bend your knees or rock your hips, anything that feels good for you. Looking for firm roots through your hands, making sure the inner edge of your hands are rooted into the mat and the fingers spread comfortably wide apart. Shift weight into the finger pads so that not dumping into the wrist, but rather feeling how the weight spreads evenly across the whole surface of your hand. And roll your upper arm bones outwards away from your ears to spread the shoulder blades wide on the back. As you're pressing forward and down through your hands, maybe you can send your hips up a little bit higher, so really stretching out through the center of your body, a little bit more length in your torso. But with your next inhale, ripple forward into a plank, so bringing the shoulders over the wrists, and maybe even a little bit forward of the wrists if you're able. We'll stay here for a moment, really pressing down through the hands, spreading the shoulder blades wide on the back, hugging in through the low belly. If you need to bring your knees to the mat, that's of course allowed. Otherwise, seeing if you can really lift through the inner lines of your legs so that the legs are doing some of the work of holding you up. And with your next exhale, finding your way down onto your belly, you can bring your knees down first or lowering one straight line. And then we'll root the tops of the feet, reaching down through the hands. As you inhale, you can reach the chest forward, coming into a little bit of a cobra. Exhaling to settle back down, chest towards the floor. And do that again, inhaling to come into a cobra, maybe dragging your hands against the mat towards you to pull your heart forward. Exhaling to settle back down. And once more, pressing down through the feet, inhaling into cobra. And exhaling to settle back down. Tucking your toes under, hugging in through the low belly. As you inhale, you come back up to all fours for plank. And then we'll exhale to take the hips up and back, moving into downward dog. Another full breath in here, so you can lift your hips up really high. And as you're exhaling, keeping the hips lifted, stretching your heels away from your hips for more length on the backs of your legs. And then we'll inhale to come forward into plank, shoulders over the wrists. Exhaling to lower your way down, maybe all the way, maybe chaturanga. And we'll inhale into cobra or upward dog. And then exhaling to take the hips up and back, moving into downward dog. And then from here, walking your feet slowly towards your hands, moving towards a gentle forward fold. Your knees can be as bent as you like. And as you inhale, you come halfway up, maybe bringing your hands to your shins if that's helpful. Exhaling to settle back down, let it hang nice and heavy. Inhaling in to come halfway up, ribs reaching forward. Exhaling to settle, letting everything hang. And one more time, inhaling, halfway up, reaching the ribs forward. And then exhale to empty and sink. And take your hands to your opposite elbows. Just let yourself dangle here for a moment. Again, enough bend in your knees that it feels comfortable to be here, especially soft in your spine, especially soft through the part of the spine that makes up the back of your neck. And just drop your head off the end of your spine.
With your next exhale, hands settling back towards the floor. Keep the arms and head nice and heavy. Again, a little bit of bend in your knees as you slowly roll up towards standing. Then as you're coming up, finding length in your legs, you start to reach your tailbone towards your heels, hug the belly in, lift the ribs, spread the shoulders out wide. Nice tall stance. Your next inhale, reaching your arms up alongside your ears. Exhaling to fold forward, bringing the hands towards the floor. Inhaling to come halfway up, reaching your ribs forward. Exhale, softening, stepping your right foot back. We'll place the right knee down to the mat. One breath to inhale your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, the hands come back down towards the floor. Straightening your right leg, press the mat away from you. Careful step back to plank. Then moving with your own breath, find your own path to downward dog. So whatever makes sense for you, maybe exhaling to lower. Inhaling into a back bend, cobra upward dog. Exhaling to pick your hips up and back, moving into downward dog. And then we'll inhale to reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, stepping the right foot forward towards your hands. Left knee down to the mat, inhaling to sweep the arms up alongside the ears. Exhaling to bring the hands down to the floor, stepping your left foot forward to meet the right. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale to settle back into your fold. Pressing into the feet, inhale all the way up, arms reaching for the ceiling, tall stretch. Exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. And we'll inhale again to reach the arms up tall. Exhale, folding forward, bring the hands towards the floor. Inhale, halfway up, reach the ribs forward. Exhale, softening down, stepping your left foot back. And we'll bring the left knee down to the mat. Just one breath to reach the arms up alongside the ears. Exhale, the hands come back down to the floor. Straightening your left leg. Carefully stepping your right foot back to plank. Moving with your own breath, find your path to downward dog. And we'll inhale to reach the left leg up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, step the left foot forward. Placing the right knee down to the floor. Inhale, arms up alongside your ears. Exhale, the hands come back down, stepping the right foot forward to meet the left. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, softening back down. Pressing into the feet, inhale all the way up, tall, reach up through the fingertips. Exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. And we'll inhale again to sweep the arms up alongside the ears. Exhaling to fold forward, bringing the hands towards the floor. Inhaling halfway up, reaching the ribs forward. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping or hopping both of your feet back. Moving again with your own breath, finding your path to downward dog. And just making sure we're moving with each rhythm of breath, so you're giving the full length of your inhale or your exhale to each and every movements, never rushing your breath. With your next inhale, reaching your right leg up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, step the right foot forward towards the hands. Bringing your left foot flat to the floor, we'll inhale to sweep the arms up alongside the ears. Coming into warrior one, just stay here for a few breaths. Settling the shoulders, settling the hips. Seeing if you can hug your low belly in and up away from your right thighs. We're drawing the torso more back so that it's centered over the hips. And then from there, growing the ribs up tall. Nice long reach up through the arms, keeping the shoulders soft away from the ears. And as you exhale, moving into warrior two, the arms out shoulder height, and letting the hips sink nice and low. Making sure your right knee, your right toes are pointing straight forward. There's some length in the inner line of your right thigh. And then we'll straighten the right leg. Inhale to reach the right arm as far forward as you're able. Exhaling to bring the right arm down, the left arm up, moving into triangle pose. And sending your hips back, reaching your ribs forward. Rolling the left side ribs open, so maybe it feels like a little bit of a twist. Reaching straight up through your left fingertips. Maybe letting that left shoulder ease back a little bit without changing the direction of your reach. Just noticing where your breath is in your body and how we can attach all of our attention, all of our sensory experience to just processing that breath. And we'll press down through the feet. Inhale to come back up to standing. Exhaling to bend your right knee, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, the right arm sweeping back. But exhaling to windmill your hands down to the floor. And we'll step the right foot just a little bit back behind the hands. And then turning your right toes out to the right, let the left foot drop towards the left. So outer edge of your left foot settling to the floor. And then reaching your right arm up towards the ceiling. Coming into a kind of side plank variation. Really press strongly down through your left hand. Lift the hips up. Reach straight up through your right fingers. Maybe lean that right shoulder back a little bit. Take another big full inhale here. And then exhale to bring your right hand back down to the floor. Pressing down through the hands. Finding a step or maybe several steps back to plank. And then from here, your own flow, finding your own path to downward dog. And with your next inhale, reach the left leg up and back. Exhale, drawing the knee into the chest, taking a careful step forward, the left foot towards your hands. Bringing your right foot flat to the floor, inhaling to bring your arms up alongside your ears, settling into warrior one. And seeing if you can let the weight of the hips drop. Find a little bit of a hugging through the low belly so that we can lift the ribs away from the hips. Letting the shoulders soften, but still finding that really strong reach up through your arms. So in every part of your body, seeing how you can find both the sense of settling, of weight, of connection towards the earth, and also the lift, the lightness that takes us away from the earth. And then as you exhale, you move into warrior two, the arms out, shoulder height. Adjusting your feet if you need to. You can find left toes, left knee pointing straight forward. Sense of length in the inner left thigh, a nice wide space across the front of your pelvis. And then we'll straighten the left leg. Inhale to reach your left arm as far forward as you're able. Exhaling the left arm down, the right arm up. Moving into triangle pose. And there's a little bit of a hug between your feet so that you can find the inner lines of the legs, which leads us to the pelvic floor. A little bit more of a root for the spine as we engage the pelvic floor, and then perhaps more capacity to lengthen your ribs away from your hips and stretch the spine out longer. And then keep reaching straight up through your right fingers, but maybe let that right shoulder roll back just the tiniest bit. And then we'll inhale to come back up to standing. Exhaling to bend your left knee, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, the left arm reaching back. Exhaling to windmill your hands down to the floor. And tuck your right toes under. And we'll just take a little bit of a step back with the left foot. Turning the left toes out to the left. And then settling the outer edge of the right foot down to the floor. Reaching your left arm up to the ceiling. Pressing down through your right hand. Lift your hips up high. And taller reach up through those left fingers. Maybe you can let the left shoulder ease back just a little bit more. And then we'll exhale the left hand down. Tucking your right toes under. Taking a careful step back to plank. Moving again with your own breath, your path to downward dog. The end of your next exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step the feet or hop the feet up towards your hands. Inhaling halfway up, reaching your ribs forward. Exhaling to settle back into your fold. Pressing into the feet, long spine. Inhale, come all the way up, arms reaching for the ceiling. Exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. And then bringing your hands to your hips. You shift your weight into your right foot. Picking up your left foot. And pick it up nice and high. And then we'll start to turn the left knee out to the left. So seeing if you can really feel how the thigh bone shifts in the hip socket, keeping the hips square. From here you can place your left foot to the inside of your right leg, either below or above the knee. So it could be that you actually have your toes on the floor, or the left foot towards the inner shin, or the left foot towards the inner thigh. And then you're making sure the hips are truly square. We're just aiming to move the left thigh bone in the hip socket to bring that left thigh out to the left. If you feel steady here, you can bring your hands together at the center of the chest, or reach your arms up alongside your ears. Making sure we're really rooting down through the right foot, and then also really pressing the left foot and the right leg into each other. So the inner line of your right leg is active, physically holding your center line. Know where your middle is and how your body hangs around that middle line. Just taking a full inhale here, maybe you can stretch out a little bit longer up through your fingers, down through your right foot. And then as you exhale, bring the hands back towards the hips. Take the left knee forward, a little bit of softness in the right knee. Begin to reach your left leg back behind you, and then take a step back so that the left foot can land in warrior one. We'll inhale the arms up alongside the ears. But exhaling to move into warrior two, the arms out, shoulder height.
Inhaling reverse warrior, the right arm sweeping back. As you exhale, bring your right forearm to your right thigh, or maybe your right hand to the floor on the inside of the right foot. We'll reach the left arm forward alongside the left ear. Find a good bend in your right knee. Make sure again that your right knee, your right toes are pointing straight forward. See if we can wrap the right hip under the body and then roll the left side ribs open. So it's a little bit of a twist feeling again as you stack the left side ribs over the right. Keep rooting down through the outer edge of your left foot, stretching out through those left fingers. Nice full breath into the side body. And then we'll press down through the feet, inhaling to come back to reverse warrior, long space in your right side. Exhaling to windmill the hands to the floor. Tucking your left toes under, step the right foot back just a little bit behind your hands, turning the right toes out to the right, settling the outer edge of the left foot down to the left, reaching the right arm up to the ceiling, again coming into the side plank shape. Keep the hips lifted as high as you're able. This time we'll reach the right arm forward alongside the right ear to stretch a little bit more into the right side body. And then exhale to bring the right hand down to the floor, tucking your left toes under, stepping back to plank, moving with your breath, your path to downward dog. And with your next inhale, you reach your right leg up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, step your right foot forward towards your hands. Placing your left foot flat to the floor, inhaling to come up, warrior one. And now as you exhale, leading your weight into your right foot, moving into warrior three. Seeing if you can lift your left leg up parallel to the floor. Really drop through the inner line of the leg. Strong reach back through the ball of the foot, reaching forward through your fingers or through the center of your heart. And then as you exhale, folding into a standing split. So the hands coming down towards the floor. You start to lean your weight into your hands, into the ball of your right foot so that you can seesaw that left leg up behind you. Really reaching up for the inner line of your left leg so the hips are as square as possible. And then we'll exhale to step the left foot beside the right, so we're back to our forward fold. Inhale halfway up, exhaling to settle back down. Pressing into the feet, inhaling to come all the way up, arms reaching for the ceiling. Exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. And then taking your hands to your hips. Shifting your weight now into your left foot. We'll pick up the right foot or the right knee. Pick it up really high. And start to take the right leg out to the right. See if you can use your hands to keep the front hip points straight forward as you bring that right knee out. And then we'll step the right foot to the inside of your left leg, either below or above the knee. You could use your right hand to guide the foot up a little bit higher if you like. Again, making sure with your hands and your hips that the hip points are straight forward. And then we're just bringing that right leg slightly out to the right. If you feel steady here, hands to the center of the chest, and maybe the arms up towards the ceiling. Rooting down through the left foot, especially the big toe mound of your left foot. Strong reach up through your fingers. Still letting the shoulders settle, still letting your face soften, still paying attention to your breathing so that you're breathing into each moment. And then we'll bring the hands down towards the hips, taking that right knee forward, bending your left knee a little bit as you move, taking that step back with the right foot, landing in a warrior one shape, arms reaching up alongside your ears. And then exhaling into warrior two, the arms out shoulder height. You sit the hips nice and low, settle your shoulders. And we'll inhale here, reverse warrior, left arm reaching back, or your left hand to the floor on the inside of your left foot, reaching the right arm alongside your right ear. And bend in your left knee, make sure left knee, left toes are pointing straight forward. Hug the left hip in towards your midline, roll your right side ribs open, stretch out long through your right side body, right fingers reaching forward. You feel how your breath spreads the right side ribs apart, how your breath reaches into your right side waist. And then again, we'll press down to the feet with your next inhale, coming back to reverse warrior, long space in your left side body. Exhaling to windmill the hands down to the floor, tucking your right toes under. Taking, sorry, huge pile of hair in my mouth. Stepping your left foot a little bit behind your hands. Turning your left toes out to the left, rocking onto the outer edge of your right foot, and then reaching your left arm up towards the ceiling, lifting your hips up high, and then taking your left arm forward alongside your left ear and really stretching and breathing into that left side body.
Good, as you exhale, bring your left hand back down, tuck your right toes under, stepping back to plank, and then moving through your own path to downward dog. And it can be as simple or as complex as you like. You just choose a path that best serves your breath. Then we'll inhale here to reach the left leg up and back. Exhale, drawing the knee into the chest, step the left foot forward towards your hands. Right foot flat to the floor. Inhaling to reach your arms up alongside your ears. Good. Exhaling now to shift weight into your left foot, so move into warrior three. Right leg reaching up parallel to the floor, and really reach up to the inner line of your right leg. Long stretch back through the right foot, forward through your heart, maybe forward through your fingertips. And then we'll exhale to bring the hands down, moving into standing split. Seeing if you can lean weight into the ball of your foot, maybe even into your hands, so that that right leg can seesaw up a little bit higher. And especially guiding the inner line of your right leg up towards the ceiling. And exhaling to place the right foot beside the left, moving back to your forward fold. Inhale halfway up, and then exhaling to settle back. Pressing into the feet, inhaling to come all the way up, arms reaching for the ceiling. And then exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. We'll bring the hands back to the hips. Again, lean your weight into your right foot. Pick up your left leg. This time we'll place the ankle, the left ankle, just above the right knee. So you can start to find more bend in your right knee as you sit the hips back. And again, see if we can keep the ankle long on both sides, so kind of a flex shape in your left foot. Still reaching your hips back. Start to reach your arms alongside your ears. See if you can guide your chest both forward and up away from your hips. And then from here we might find a little bit more fold, seeing if we can bring the forearms down towards the left calf. And taking a few steady breaths here. Maybe letting that left knee settle out a little bit. Hips reaching back, heart reaching forward, long space in your low spine. Then coming slowly back up, reaching your arms alongside your ears. We'll pick up the left knee. Big step back with your left foot. Moving again into warrior one. As you inhale, the arms reach up. Exhaling into warrior two, arms out, shoulder height. And inhaling, reverse warrior, the right arm sweeping back. Exhaling either right forearm to your right thigh, right hand to the floor, or maybe moving into the bind, the right arm threading under your right thigh. In that case, the left hand comes behind the back. Otherwise, you might again reach your left arm alongside your left ear for the longer side stretch. So giving lots of options here for people at different levels at home. Just finding the thing that works for you. Seeing if you can tuck your right hip under your body, rolling your left side ribs open. If you're in the bind, really looking for length through the belly, so reaching your ribs away from your hips, so specifically the front ribs away from the pubic bone. If you're in the bind, you can slowly release. And then we'll all inhale to come back to reverse warrior, long space in the right side body. Exhaling to windmill the hands down to the floor. Left toe tuck under, a little step back with that right foot, just behind your hands. Right toes out to the right, settling onto the outer edge of your left foot. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Reach your right arm forward alongside your right ear. Either stay here or maybe stepping back into the side plank. So just gently picking up that right foot, stepping it all the way to the back of your mat. Big breath in here, into your right side ribs. And then exhale the right hand to the floor, finding your way to plank, moving with your own breath, your path to downward dog. Then we'll inhale to reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, hug the knee into the chest, step the right foot forward towards your hands. Left foot flat to the floor. Inhale, arms up, warrior one. Exhaling into warrior three, so weight into your right foot, letting that left leg float up. Nice stretch out here. And then as you exhale, standing split, hands towards the floor, that left leg reaching up tall. And next exhale, your left foot comes down beside your right into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhaling to sink back down. Pressing into the feet, inhaling to come all the way up, arms reach tall. Exhaling the hands to the center of the chest. And then hands to your hips. Shifting your weight into your left foot, picking up that right foot. Starting to find some bend in your left knee as you cross your right ankle just above your left knee, keeping the right ankle long on both sides, sitting the hips back a little bit more. As you sit your hips low, reach the arms up alongside your ears, start to find more length in your torso, ribs lifting away from your hips. And then looking for more of that fold, so going forward with your heart, eventually seeing maybe if we can bring the forearms down onto the right calf. Continuing to send the hips back to reach the heart forward. The more you can lengthen out your low back here, the more you'll feel that tug in the outer right hip. Yeah, and then we'll slowly come back up with the torso, reach the arms up, pick up your right knee, take a big step back with your right foot, landing in Warrior One as you inhale, arms stretching up towards the ceiling. Exhaling into Warrior Two, the arms out, shoulder height. Inhaling, reverse warrior, the left arm reaching back. And then exhaling, either left forearm to your left thigh or left hand to the floor inside of your left foot. Maybe then reaching your right arm on one side of your right ear, or taking your left arm under your left thigh, right hand behind the back, finding your bind. Just whatever you can hold on to. 2 pieces of your clothing is enough. Good bend in your left knee, wherever you are, so you can hug that left hip in towards your midline. Lengthening out the belly, reaching your front ribs away from your pubic bone. You're going to lean your right shoulder in the direction of your left thigh, so you're turning the heart open. Remembering to breathe. Remembering that the breath keeps you here, steady and calm wherever you are here. And then we'll let go of the bind if you have it. Pressing down to the feet, inhaling to reverse warrior, the left side body bone. Exhaling to bring your hands down to the floor, tucking your right toes under. Just that little step back with your left foot, turning your left toes out to the left. Inner edge of the right foot, settling down to the floor. Reach your left arm up to the ceiling, opening the chest up wide. And again, seeing if you can take your left arm forward alongside the left ear for more space in the left side body. And then either just staying here or maybe beginning to pick up that left foot and step it to the back of your mat for the full side plank. And keep the hips up high, keep your left side body long. Exhale, left hand to the floor, finding your way into plank. And again, traveling with your own breathing, your path to downward dog. And with your next inhale, reach the left leg up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, step the left foot forward towards the hands, right foot flat to the floor, inhaling up, Warrior One. Exhaling to move forward into Warrior Three. Right leg lifting away from the floor. Nice long stretch out here. And then as you exhale, both hands down to the floor. The right leg reaching up towards the ceiling, especially if you can drop through the inner line of the leg. And as you exhale, right foot down beside your left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale to melt back down. Pressing into the feet, inhaling all the way up, arms reaching for the ceiling. Exhaling, hands to the center of the chest. Okay, we'll come into that balanced pose once more, the kind of pigeon stretch, and maybe an option to go farther, maybe not. So maybe for every different level there's an option. So lots of people are complaining that this staying at home thing is boring, so just want to make sure that you have something to keep you occupied. So we'll keep the left foot rooted into the floor, pick up the right foot, crossing the right ankle just above your left knee, sitting your hips nice and low, maybe starting to find that fold of just placing your forearms onto your right shin, and the hips can go back, the heart can go forward, a little bit more space in the upper right hip. Maybe just stay here. Or we can start to reach for the floor. So maybe the hands come down, fingertips or hands rooting into your mat. Seeing if we can find a little bit more bend in the left knee so the hips are low. Again, really keep the spine long. If your hands come comfortably toward the floor and you're really able to fold into the hip creases, maybe even trying to shift a little bit more weight into your hands, you might look for some bend in the elbows. You might see if you can hook your right foot around your upper left arm and really press your shin bone into the backs of your arms. Maybe here you can find more bend in the elbows and just keep shifting your weight forward, forward, forward until it's possible to float that left foot off the floor. And if it seems crazy, as always, don't worry about it. Then we'll bring the left foot back to the floor. And we'll find our way step by step back out. Wherever you were, and start to come back upwards. Hands to your heart, picking up your torso, picking up your right knee, stepping the right foot back to the floor. Maybe you want to give the legs a little shake out. And then maybe we can try the other side. Definitely try the other side. Maybe we can go in the same depth, or we just find whatever edge works. We'll often notice that the sides of the body feel different. So hands can come to the center of the heart, maybe sitting your hips low, finding that fold of the forearms coming down towards your left shin. Either stay as you are here, or reaching for the floor. Maybe that just means your fingertips. Perhaps you're able to place your hands firmly into the floor. Keep sitting your hips low, finding a little bit of bend in the elbows. If your hands are firmly on the floor, you have that flexibility. You might hook your right toes just kind of around your upper left arm. You might press your left shin bone against the backs of your arms, and then you just keep leaning forward, leaning forward, leaning forward, leaning forward a little bit more, pushing down with the hands until that right foot can float away from your mat. And then place the right foot back down, coming step by step back up from wherever you landed. Hands back to your left shin, hands back to the heart, lifting the torso, picking up your left knee, stepping your feet side by side. And again, maybe just giving a little bit of a shake out. And finding a tall stance again at the top of your mat, both feet firmly rooted into the floor. And coming into this moment, so whatever just happened, we can let that go, and we can be here now. With your next inhale, you reach your arms up alongside your ears. You exhale to fold, bringing your hands towards the floor. Inhaling halfway up, reaching your ribs forward. Exhaling to plant the hands, stepping or hopping back one more time, finding your own path to downward dog. And however you like to get there. And then from downward dog, we'll bring the knees to the mat. And either knees together, or maybe a little bit wider. Bring the tops, the feet to the floor, big toes touch. Sitting back into child's pose. Forehead to the mat, maybe your arms stay forward or reaching them back by your sides. And just taking a few steady, comfortable breaths here. Relaxing your wrists, relaxing your shoulders. And when that's time, folding into your hip creases, into the knee creases. And just letting the weight of your body settle. And inhale to come up to seated on your heels. We'll take the hips off to one side, bring the legs forward. Taking your left leg straight forward, and hug the right thigh close in towards you. And then step your right foot towards the outside of your left leg. Still sitting up tall, leaning onto the front edge of your sits bones. And bring your right hand behind you. Inhale to reach your left arm up. And then exhaling to continue turning so that your left arm can hug the right leg in some way. Again, stay tall on the front edge of your sits bones. As you inhale, you can grow a little bit taller. As you're exhaling, maybe turning a little bit more to the right. And just continuing to follow your own breath into this twist. Maybe choosing to close your eyes here so that the gaze is directed more internally. And most of your senses are processing internal information. How do you feel inside? How do you feel right now? How is your breath moving in your body right now? And maybe also, how good is it to be alive right now? And we'll slowly unwind. Just coming right over to the other side. So we're going to take the right leg forward, the left knee in towards the chest, stepping the left foot towards the outside of the right leg, left hand behind you, inhaling to reach your right arm up, and then as you exhale, you just keep turning the right arm, connecting in some way with your left leg. Stay on the front edge of your sits bones, grow up through your spine as you inhale, and then find that turning as you exhale
Maybe your face turns more in the direction of your left shoulder, and then perhaps closing your eyes so that we're not focused on external visual information, but rather seeing ourselves, our own internal landscape more clearly. And usually when we do that looking inside, we're able to see more clearly all of the gifts that are available to us right here, right now. And again, I'm winding back to center. We'll bring the soles of the feet to the floor. And just slowly find your way down onto your back. And holding onto the backs of the thighs to make an easeful transition. And take the soles of the feet about hip width apart and the heels close in towards your sits bones. We'll bring the arms down by the sides. Pressing down into the feet as you inhale, coming into a bridge pose, lifting the hips, interlacing the fingers. Kind of snuggle your shoulder blades in towards each other. So pressing down through the backs of the arms, lifting the hips up higher, reaching your tailbone towards your heels, and stretching your chest towards your chin to lengthen out the belly, the fronts of the hips, the tops of the thighs, all of those areas that we've been folding into. See if you can give them a good flushing out with your breath. Separate the hands as you exhale. You can slowly let your hips settle back towards the floor. Nice and heavy. And for a moment, you can just set your feet a little bit wider apart and let the knees fall in towards each other. Neutral shape in the spine. Muscles of the body mostly in their resting lengths. And then just bringing your arms out more like shoulder height so they're out of the way. We'll wiggle the feet out so that they're mat width apart, so make sure they're nice and wide. Separate your knees. And now as you exhale, let both of your legs fall to the left. So the right knee dropping in, the left knee dropping out. And then we'll inhale to come back towards center. Exhale, let both of the knees fall to the right. So left knee dropping into center, right knee dropping out to the side. Inhale, coming back up. Exhaling and over to the left. And just keep going a few more times with your own slow breaths, kind of like a slow windshield wiper. And feel massaging of the outer hips against the floor as you roll from side to side. And then also really feeling how the thigh bones kind of shift around in the hip socket. So we're getting some external rotation, which we've already been doing, as we let the outside leg fall outwards. But the leg that's falling in towards center is getting internal rotation, so nice counter movement. And let's try and make all of the movements feel as smooth, as fluid as possible. The next time that both of your legs fall to the left, you can just stay there. Let them both be really heavy, especially let that right knee fall in towards the center line. And then either just staying as you are, or maybe placing your left foot on top of your right knee. So the weight of the left foot just gives a little bit more encouragement for the right knee to settle. If it feels like any kind of discomfort in your knee itself, then please don't do it. And then we'll reach the arms up alongside the ears. You can loop your left hand around your right wrist and give a nice tug back on your right arms, longer space in your right side body. And then releasing the arms back down about shoulder height. We'll take the left foot back to the floor. Inhale both of your knees back up to center. And then exhale both of your knees over to the right, letting that left knee especially fall heavily
in towards the center line, so really feeling that internal rotation in your left thigh. Maybe if it makes sense for you, you can place your right foot on top of your left knee for that little bit of extra weight in guiding the left knee down. And then we'll reach the arms alongside the ears and loop your right hand around your left wrist. Maybe give a little extra tug back on that left arm so we find the stretch from the left knee through the thigh, the hip, the side body, the shoulder, all the way up through to the left hand. Bringing your arms back out about shoulder height. We'll place the right foot back to the floor, both knees come back up to center. And then from here, bringing your knees into your chest, wrapping your hands or your arms around your shins. Hug the legs in. You can rock a little bit side to side, massaging your back against the floor. And then slowly finding your way into Savasana. So take your arms, your legs straight out on your mat. Of course, finding anything you need to stay cozy here. If having your legs straight doesn't feel great for your low back, maybe a good idea to place the soles of the feet to the floor, the knees bent, and have the knees fall in towards each other. Or if you have something nearby, like a rolled up blanket or the right kind of pillow, you could place something under your knees so that the knees are a little bit supported. And then wherever you land, let yourself be completely heavy and completely soft. You see if we can let go of any effort in the physical body. And let go of effort in our breathing. Let go of effort in your mental space. I would say most of our yoga practice is concerned with the present moment, but Savasana, in its own way, should feel timeless. Slowly begin to come back to this moment by inviting conscious breath into your body. And finding small movements in your fingers and your toes. And reaching your arms alongside your ears. Find a nice long stretch as you take an inhale. And exhale, bending your knees, rolling onto your right side. And then finding your way slowly up to seated, moving into a comfortable cross-legged seat or whatever works for you. And your eyes closed, hands on your knees or in your lap. And sitting up tall, finding just the right amount of effort in your seat. So we maintain all of the softness and all of that gravity that we cultivated in Savasana. And then just the right amount of buoyancy to make us feel both rooted and light. Enjoying for a few more moments. Simple act of paying attention to your breath so that you can be here in your body. And then bringing your hands together at the center of your chest and thank yourself for moving through this practice today. Namaste. Great. Thank you for joining. I think I'm probably not really in a good enough shape to do my own practices, so it would be great if soon we can all come back to practicing normally and I can just walk around while everyone else does the work. Hope we'll see you again soon, either virtually or in real life.